Hey, it's Dr. McLean with Vital Energy Chiropractic. And a couple of summers ago, we went to, my family and I, my wife and my kids, we made a trip to South Dakota. We went to Mount Rushmore, we went to Deadwood, we went to Bear Country, USA, went to all these different tourist attractions in that area. It's really, really fun. And before we went on that trip, we made a plan, probably like you do. If you travel someplace, you got to book your flights or you got to determine where you're going to drive to, where are you going to stay in the hotel. We stayed at Deadwood the first night and we traveled from there. We had a hotel booked, and so we made plans before we went. That's pretty obvious when you go on vacation, but I see when it comes to people's health, so often people have no plan for their health as we get older especially, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is we've been taught that genetics is the holy grail, meaning your genetics determine everything. If you have good genetics, you're going to be healthy and you're going to live a long, ripe life. And if you have bad genetics, you're destined for disease. And you really can't do anything about it other than take drugs that the pharmaceutical tells you to take, pharmaceutical companies. But the research now has overcome that. It hasn't got a lot of press, but now for a long time they've had shown that there's something called epigenetics. Epi means above. So epigenetics means that your lifestyle trumps your genetics. Now we have certain genetics, we have a blueprint, and we have a recipe for our genes that's going to determine maybe how tall we are. There's certain things like that. So I'm not saying that genes aren't important, of course, but we can completely turn off the bad genes through our lifestyle activities, or we can turn those on. So if you're eating bad foods, bad fats, you're not exercising, you're living a sedentary lifestyle, you're more likely to turn on that gene and it gets expressed for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or arthritis or whatever these different diseases are. And just the opposite, you can really turn those genes off due to your lifestyle. Now there's certain things that are out of our control, but there's much more in your control than you would expect. So really start to think about it as you get older, and you can never, it's never too late to start. But as we get age, really think about what do you want your health to look like? What kind of things do you want to be doing when you get into your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, wherever you might be on your journey right now. And one good way to look at this is go, okay, let's assume you're doing nothing for your health right now. Okay, maybe the first thing for you would be exercise. Okay, so we're gonna pick the first quarter of next year and spend 90 days kind of dialing in your exercise, just getting into the habit of exercising, making a plan. And then once you get that established, okay, the second quarter, okay, now maybe we're gonna focus on nutrition. Or maybe we're gonna focus on your social life. Your social life is really important to your health as well, your emotional health and your overall health as well. And you just slowly chip away at these things and you make that a lifestyle. Now, one of the most important things is taking care of your spine. And I tell you, this is one of the simplest things that you can do is not only getting regular chiropractic adjustments, but then doing your spinal rehab. And you think about it, if you've ever seen anybody that's in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and they're bent over and they're all stooped and they can't move their spine and they're in bad shape that way, that they're also healthy. You never see that. Typically, if someone's healthy, they're upright, they have good posture, and they're physically able to move well. So we know that that's intricately connected. You don't need to see research to know that. You just innately know that. So just think about that. The good news is you don't have to do a lot. You just have to do it consistently. You don't have to eat perfectly. You just have to eat consistently good most of the time. Maybe 70, 80% of the time, eat good, healthy food. Then you can still have your beer and your pizza and your hamburgers or whatever. There's a lot of bad stuff that I eat, but just the majority of the time I eat pretty healthy. Not perfect by any means, but you do that consistently, it really makes a big difference. So do those little things, repeat them over and over and over. Of course, take care of your spine, and it's going to make a huge difference, and it's going to save you a ton of money.